Today's video, I shall review if you will lose weight on Malaika Arora's diet. So overall, this particular diet scores. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Aditi Guha, and this channel is all about hormonal balance, PCOS and weight loss. And if you don't want to miss any of our further updates, then definitely subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified every time we release a video. Are you someone who keeps following celebrities and is intrigued by the kind of diet or lifestyle they follow? If that is the case, then this video is perfect for you, because in today's video, I shall review if you will lose weight on Malaika Arora's diet. So here is a simple overlay of how this video will really flow, or you can follow the timestamp below in the description. So before I get into the reviewing of this video, what I wanted to put out is that I'm 100% convinced that she has been extremely candid with this diet, because it seems like she's oscillating between what you should do and what she really does. And I do feel like her diet might be a lot more stricter than what she has put it out there. So here she says that she doesn't follow any particular diet. Well, I do think, and you will realize, that she has so many food rules, and I'll sum it up for you at the end. Now let's check out her morning rituals.
I start my day with warm water and honey. I have either coconut oil or ghee in the morning.
Okay, so in her morning ritual, she's saying that she has warm water with honey, or she has ghee or coconut oil. Now, both are good options, but here is what you should know if you are choosing between these two. One is, you should not ideally have both ghee or coconut oil and honey, because the purpose of having fat first is basically to keep your insulin spike to the minimum. And on the other hand, honey, which is a natural form of sugar, actually will give you a spike in insulin. Now, this is what I would do. I would really stick to the fat first, and honey is something that actually has a lot of benefit, but none of the benefits, or there is no evidence to suggest that you should have it first thing in the morning. In fact, if you have honey anytime in the day, you will pretty much get the same benefit. So I would just stick with the fat first. So let's see what she has for her breakfast.
I don't generally have breakfast because I fast. I do intermittent fasting, so I don't eat breakfast. I eat directly, I have my lunch.
So she mentions that she skips breakfast because she does intermittent fasting. So let me emphasize on this one particular point. Never ever skip your breakfast. Skipping breakfast, especially for women, is a recipe for hormonal disaster. It basically ends up causing a lot of hormonal imbalance, especially burnout. It is very important for most women to actually have their breakfast, and preferably something that is more rich in protein and fat. In this particular video, I actually go in detail on whether or not and how you should do intermittent fasting, so do check it out. So let's see what she has for her lunch.
Lunch is, regular dal, sabzi, roti, rice, whatever's maybe. I'm vegetarian, so whatever I can lay. But of course, I try to eat all organic produce as opposed to this. I try as much, so I really do buy all my stuff from organic market.
Okay, so I feel like this is extremely vague. I don't know what does anything will do. Roti, sabzi or rice, anything is working. So what I would, I don't know if biryani is working. I don't know if naan works. So it's very difficult to understand what she's really eating and how much she is actually eating of any of this. So when it comes to the point of organic food, this is what I would like to add, is that there is nothing wrong if you know the certification process and you know that this particular produce is coming from a certified route. In most of the cases, there is no real board actually certifying them, so it just becomes a marketing gimmick to increase the price. So now let's see what she has for her dinner.
Dinner could be, again, soups or something, whatever. It depends on what I feel like. But I'm obsessed with khichdis, I love, so I eat a lot of it.
So here again, she talks about soups, and then obviously a lot of whatever, but then she also has khichdi. So one thing I would like to add, that both the choices of soup and khichdi is actually a pretty good dinner choice, and here is why. One is, khichdi is one of the wholesome meals because it has protein, it has the rice, and if it is made well with vegetables, it actually becomes pretty wholesome. It is known to be actually very light on the gut, and therefore it promotes digestion. So having it in the night is actually pretty decent idea. And soup, on the other hand, also ensures that you're decently full and you have also got the veggies. So all in all, this dinner sounds actually pretty good.
My last meal is by between 6:30 and 7, by 6:45 I think.
So here she mentions that her last meal is between 6:30 and 7. So while I'm not so fussed about a particular time. I don't think the calorie of a banana, for instance, goes up at 7:01. But this is what you should know about it, that there is evidence that shows that if you follow the circadian rhythm, it's actually pretty beneficial for you, and that's because it actually is good for the gut health, because there is a lot of gap before your bedtime. And number two, it also shows that that is the time when the food is metabolized in a way that your insulin sensitivity is well managed. So that is a thing to note.
Well, each to his own. I mean, if you feel like you want to cheat on your meal, have a cheat meal every third day, so be it. If you feel you want to have your cheat meal on the weekends, so be it. I think you should be able to do something that you can follow through, because it doesn't make sense saying, I'm going to do this and then you don't land up doing it. So do something that is conducive and you're able to follow it.
Okay, here she talks about the cheat meal, and I think what she's probably trying to say is that only do the cheat meal if you're able to stick to the rest of the other meals. If you're not really following through the other meal, there is really no point of having cheat meal. Here is my advice when it comes to cheat meal. First of all, one, I don't like the word cheat meal. It automatically connotes that you're doing something wrong, and the association of food being bad and good is not something that I endorse. What I would call it is a treat meal. The second thing is that if you need a lot of escape from your regular meal, then your regular meal needs to be fixed. It just shows that that meal is not sustainable or not up to your liking. And third thing is that I know of a lot of good people who do great work Monday to Friday, but come Saturday, everything goes for a toss. This is very counterproductive, and you again might want to evaluate the way you are allocating or working your weekends out. So let's watch what are her strict no-nos.
Strict no-no. I completely avoid all things white. Essentially, sugar, processed sugar, or too much of table salt, as in pastas, in terms, white in terms of, things like maida and all of that. I don't have any of that. Gluten, I avoid dairy. These are the things that I completely.
Okay, there are many no-nos here. Two things that I want to add here are, one, brown sugar is not remarkably better than white sugar. This is a big mistake that a lot of people do. Brown sugar is still sugar. It is just unrefined, which basically means it probably has a little more nutrition, but it doesn't mean that its impact on your insulin or your calories is going to be very, very different. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to being gluten-free or dairy-free, elimination diet needs to be done and reintroduced so that you don't develop an allergy to it. You don't develop an issue with it. Gluten per se is not the villain, nor is dairy, but it really depends on how your body reacts, and you should have a very systematic process before you start eliminating them. So let's see what she talks about her workout.
I try and work out every day of my life. What to do, I think everybody, again, whatever works for you, whatever you think, as long as it's some sort of physical activity. You can go to the gym, you can go outdoor, you can go for a run, you can swim, you can do weight training, yoga, Pilates, whatever you feel makes you happy, do it.
So she mentions that she works out every single day, and here is my point of view on this. One is that workout every day is not the most advisable. It just basically means that you need rest days. Rest days are not optional or like a lazy day. Rest days are actually needed for the muscle recovery. Number two, whenever you're working out, you need to supplement yourself with a protein or a post-workout meal, which she hasn't mentioned anywhere in this particular video. So let's see how her diet actually performs on these 5 nutritional pillars. When it comes to the nutritional composition, well, seems like her diet is free of any processed food, so I would give it a 1 on 1. On point number 2, when it comes to satiation, the diet felt it was very, very low on protein or fat. The macros were not really clear, so I would probably give it a 0.5. Now, when it comes to gut health, there is no mention of dahi or any kind of prebiotic or probiotic, so on that I would give it a 0. Now, when it comes to sustainability, honestly, there are so many rules in this particular diet, and intermittent fasting, which I don't personally think is a very sustainable solution, especially for weight loss. So on that also, I shall give it a 0 on 1. And last but not the least, when it comes to overall calorie composition, it was very hard to really determine how much of this food she eats because she keeps it really, really vague. So I'm going to give it 0.5. So overall, this particular diet scores a 2 out of 5. And therefore, to answer your question, will you lose weight on this particular diet? The answer is that it probably won't be a very sustainable result. So I hope you enjoyed this particular review, and if you do like reviews, we have so many more of them, so do check them out. And I'll see you next week.